Hello, and welcome to the 182nd episode of Gaming Talk. On this episode, I'm going to talk about why I think that the Resident Evil 3 remake turned out the way it did. Let's get into it. This is something that came across my mind recently as I had been playing the RE3 remake a lot, like 3 back-to-back playthroughs, because I was practicing to get the complete the game in under 2 hours achievement, which I did eventually accomplish by getting through the game in 1 hour and 13 minutes. I really do not have that many criticisms about the RE3 remake, as I find it to be really enjoyable, and this is also not a video where I would do that. The thing is that a lot of people seem to hate it, and that led me to not only wondering why, but also looking into why that is, and what I found is that Capcom removed entire sections of the original RE3 from the remake. What they removed is City Hall, the press office, Raccoon City Park, the graveyard, Gravedigger boss fight, and the Dead Factory. I remember reading a post from someone saying that because of areas like the graveyard, it made the original RE3 a lot scarier, and that's something I'd love to have experienced in the remake. I just do not understand why Capcom would do something like this. I really couldn't find that much of a reason other than those locations apparently don't serve a purpose in Jill's escape from Raccoon City, and even if that's the case, they still should have been in the remake since they were in the original. Plus, when I think about it, what did we gain from cutting these areas from the RE3 remake? Look. In the RE2 remake, there's a lot of story content because you have both first and second scenarios for Leon and Claire. You also have the Ghost Survivors, which gives you 4 high score / time trials, and the 4th Survivor, which is kind of the same as Ghost Survivors. Plus, I believe that the only thing cut from the RE2 remake was something about giant spiders, I guess? What does the RE3 remake have? Well, it has a concept art gallery and a single linear story mode. Yeah, that's it. There's one single scenario for the story mode, and there are 0 extra modes, just a gallery of concept art and figurines. Hell, they didn't even include The Mercenaries, which debuted in the original version of RE3. How do you drop the ball on that, Capcom? Yes, RE3 Nemesis was the debut of the Mercenaries mode, and the remake doesn't have that. Instead, what we got bundled with the RE3 remake was Resident Evil Resistance. Yet another PvP multiplayer attempt in the Resident Evil franchise that ultimately failed, which is why they bundled it with RE3 remake. See, my guess is that the RE3 remake and Resistance were probably being worked on at the same time, so they had to split the team to do it. Thus, the RE3 remake got cut down in all of the ways that it is. Resistance failed on its own, so they put the two together and assumed that more people would play Resistance if it was just given to them, even though that's not how things work, Capcom. I don't get why Capcom keeps attempting to make multiplayer Resident Evil games, especially when the last ones utterly failed. People play RE games for the story and then the extra modes like the Mercenaries once they're done with the story. They don't want to pick their favorite RE characters and shoot other RE characters in locations from the RE franchise like it's a Call of Duty game. That isn't what RE fans want, and I just wonder, when will Capcom start to understand this? Again, I do like the Resident Evil 3 remake, and I find it to be a fun, enjoyable experience, but I definitely agree with people that think Capcom needs to make a version of Resident Evil 3 remake that has all the cut content from the original in it. I would have loved to have a full Resident Evil 3 Remake experience, and I know other people would love that too. But that's going to do it for this episode, so if you like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.